Alright, hello everyone, this is Crota giving you game 1 in a series between FXO's Strelok and FXO's Lowly here on Xel'Naga Caverns. Strelok spawning as the red Terran player on the bottom left hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Lowly is spawning on the top right hand side of the map as the blue Zerg. This was taken from the Russian StarCraft League, and I believe this is the finals, and it is an FXO versus FXO finals. Very, very interested to see how this is all going to come about, what the players are going to be doing, and what Lowly is going to do here on Xel'Naga Caverns. Now, Xel'Naga Caverns does remind me of the old times casting Wednesday Night StarCraft with VVV. And also just pulling back all of those memories, knowing that Zerg players tend to have a difficult time on this map. The natural expansion is very exposed, meaning that Hellions can come in from multiple angles and really just torch the drone line. It will be up to Lowly to try to mitigate any of that damage. On top of that, the destructible rocks here leading to a low ground third, and the destructible rocks here at a gold mineral patch really slow down Zerg's options for a third base. Now let's take a look at this. Strelok actually utilizing the fact that there was no burrowed supply depot here in order to do a low ground wall. Oh, the drone is going to be able to slip in, and is it going to take down that SCV? No, SCV survives with 20 hit points as Lowly getting all the information he needs right here. By seeing this gas, he pretty much knows that Strelok is going to be going for Reactor Hellion. Alright, it looks as though one SCV, oh, it is going to get stuck and it gets taken down. So first blood by Lowly, delaying that orbital command just by a little bit. And now here we have it, that one SCV will be making its way out. The drone is going to be stuck here as one Marine is going to be able to shoot it. And what are we going to have? Oh, an oldie but a goodie trick once again, Extractor, in order to deny gas and also keep a little bit of scouting information alive a little bit longer. Now, let's take a look. We are going into a spawning pool. We are going into an Extractor here. Expansion is already being placed down freely by Lowly, as we now see a factory being placed down by Strelok. So this is going to be that Reactor Hellion that I mentioned moments ago. This low ground supply depot, now that Strelok has already allowed that drone in, he is going to be going back up onto that high ground and building a reactor here instead. Very important, as we are seeing more and more units being added. Lowly actually going for a faster Roach Warren than I would have expected. Now, there's two options that Lowly can really utilize here. He can either get 2 to 3 Roaches to try to handle the Hellions that are going to be harassing him, or he can go 5 to 7 and perhaps go on the aggressive. The Marines are still wandering around looking about, and one of the real weaknesses in this game, or in this particular opening for Terran players, is that they don't have Marauders. They don't have anything to really deal with those Roaches. Taking a look, you can also see that there is currently no bunker in position, and because of the earlier high ground shenanigans or low ground shenanigans that Strelok had utilized, those Roaches will not have to deal with a bunker, and we do see 6 Roaches. With that number, I do expect him to actually be aggressive with those Roaches. Otherwise, he should have just instead trained up drones and try to build up a stronger economy. 34 supply compared to 27. We can see Hellions are about. One Zergling gonna slash at those Hellions, and that Zergling obeying the commands of its master, getting torched here in the Xel'Naga Caverns, but now knows that he is going to be going up against Hellions. Now, I don't have to be a StarCraft expert to let you know 5, 6 Roaches against 4 Hellions. Who's going to win that battle? The Roaches dealing so much standard damage. Meanwhile, the Hellions not dealing much of anything. You're going to see a Queen here on position, and Lowly purposely positioned the Queen here to stop any of the attacking. The Hellions are not going to be able to do much. Yes, they're going to be able to get off one drone, and that is it. There are no drones here, as the Roaches are now on the aggressive. Here we go. SCVs are going to get taken down. Oh no, the SCV has been able to make its way back out. It looks like the Tech Lab is going to end up getting delayed. Yes, the Tech Lab going to go down, as we now see a Starport adding on a Tech Lab as well. Alright, cancellation there. Roaches now battling it out. Worker kills. 5 workers already killed. The Hellions now getting torched as well. The Roaches need to stay together, or they don't want to stay together against all of these Hellions, as the Hellion damage does splash. Roaches are now out. 2 Roaches against 1 Marauder. Who's actually going to win out on this fight? It looks as though, oh, the Marauder needs 1 more shot, and it looks like it's a tie as the Hellions clean up the rest. Lowly in a beautiful position. He is actually oversaturated inside his main base. You can take a look at that. He was oversaturated, and somehow he got exactly the 16. Beautifully done. And now he is mining up on 2 bases. Lowly in a very, very good position now, as long as he can mitigate any of the damage that these Hellions would normally deal. Alright, Roaches are here, and the Roaches, oh, get off a quick shot onto those Hellions. Those Hellions, if they were full life, I would believe could actually deal some damage, but now because Lowly is reinforcing with more Roaches and also has these Queens here, these Hellions are not going to be able to do very much. Now coming back around, Strelok making sure that no Zergling run-bys will be coming in from this bottom right-hand side of the map. Off over here instead, drones still mining away, and it looks as though, yes, it is saturating down here on the low ground instead. Lowly actually opting to not go full saturation on his bases. Instead of going for a full, I believe, what is it, 30 drones per base, he may actually be trying to go for 20 drones per base before he before he scales back and wants and try to put in a little bit more pressure. This is the situation with Zerg. Lowly and other Zerg players at this point would normally take a third. They know that they could easily power drone, and power droning would give them such a strong economic advantage that about the 15 or 16 minute mark in this game, Lowly would be at max supply. The problem is the destructible rocks and how exposed he would end up making himself against Strelok. Strelok is currently down by about 13 supply. Roaches and Zerglings are now looking to come in, and there are Banelings adding to these numbers. Alright, is this going to be able to break this? The Marauders and the Marines see the Roaches, then see the Banelings. The Zerglings are going to, back off here. They do not want to engage. Banelings are going to start exploding here, and the supply depots are all just going to burn to a crisp. You can see how much damage is being dealt. Supply depots are now being destroyed left and right. The Marines are now trying to back away. Stim is working out as the Hellions are going to get cleaned up. Where are these Banelings going to go? Are they perhaps, they should have perhaps just run into the mineral line there instead. The Marines beautifully picking off all of those Banelings when they are just out of range. And now that all the Banelings are gone, Strelok is able to pull off the SCVs and fight back against all of these Roaches. A beautiful hold by Strelok once more. Zerglings continuing to come down from the north. Are they going to perhaps be able to clean up here? They need to make sure to focus on the SCVs and not the Marines, as there you have it. No, they are going to be focusing a beautiful position by Strelok, minimizing the surface area. And with that, I don't think Lowly has that many options in order to put down pressure. We can still see it is a 40 drone to 26 SCV advantage. We are now teching the tier 2. Perhaps Baneling movement speed will be coming in as the Banelings, oh my goodness, Marauders up against Banelings. That is not a good trade at all. And the Banelings actually getting stuck there. Lowly losing a bit of control on his units, unable to engage against the Marauders and the Marines here. Beautifully played, beautifully done, as now Lowly only sits on a 10 supply advantage. Alright, let's come across here. Marauders and Marines. More Marines now coming in. Starport does have a reactor. We should see the double training of medevacs. The Starports, or the medevacs that are currently in play, are pretty much low on energy. They're not going to be able to do all that much just quite yet. Medevacs now making their way off over here. Where are they going to be going, and how much damage can they do? This is not a very large group of units. It looks as though they just want to clear out some creep tumors and make sure that they are not going to get caught out of position once more. Lowly now with Zergling's Banelings. Still no Baneling movement speed upgrade, but he is getting into the Glio reconstitution as the medevacs are now going to go up onto the high ground. Alright, the Queens now need to head back home. This is going to be a problem. The Zerglings did activate the Xel'Naga Tower enough to see that there are Marines and Marauders now dropping here in the corner. Strelok, Lowly deciding to back away, waiting for the rest of the reinforcements, and here they are. Zerglings now looking to come in. Are the Queens perhaps going to be able to snipe down a fully loaded medevac? That does not appear to be the case, as it is able to retreat. Now, Lowly sitting at 81 supply, Strelok sitting at 78. Strelok and Lowly still continuing to just set themselves up in a better position. Strelok perhaps going to try to come around the far side. Strelok expects there to be an expansion here and is quickly going to see that there is none. And now Strelok is thinking to himself, okay, I can still take this game. This game is well within my grasp. I can easily take it and perhaps come out with the victory, knowing that my opponent does not have an expansion up just quite yet. The Marines here going to be able to stim in and perhaps take down a couple of drones on the far side. Meanwhile, Medevac's able to once again retreat, as there are no infestors just quite yet to fungal growth and prevent any sort of the run. Alright, Zerglings and Queens now coming into position. The Queens trying to get off some darts onto that medevac. The medevac now back away again. Lowly, at this point, needs to try and do an expansion at least here and at least leave creep tumors up here on the high ground so he can run over there rather quickly if he wants to protect that high ground location. Taking this base is also rather dangerous, as it seems so close to this one Xel'Naga Tower here. This one Xel'Naga Tower with siege tanks up on the high ground can easily cover any sort of aggression of siege tanks that are on the low ground that are trying to take down a hatchery that would normally be positioned here. A good wall off by Strelok here, supply depots and an engineering bay with the covering of the back door means Zerglings will only be able to funnel from this direction, which is already well defended. A triple barracks. Strelok only with 5 production buildings overall, not producing all that much at this time, only some siege tanks. As we now see Zerglings attempting to clear out these destructible rocks and also a hatchery here at the top left-hand side of the map. The Zerglings may be able to take down these supply depots, but if this wall is completed, there is no way that the Zerglings should be able to make their way in. An armory, an engineering bay, and having so many Marines nearby should be able to take it down unless a Baneling bust does happen. Fungal growth catching a couple units out in open field. Yes, we are going to see again a fungal growth preventing the medevacs from leaving, and then they have been shot down by the infested Terrans. Alright, what is going to be happening here next? Vikings now on the hunt, looking for perhaps some more overlords that have been greedily positioned all across the map. Marines now clearing out creep tumors, and with this, siege tanks, Zerglings, bad run in here. We're going to see a very, very deep siege tank line. More siege tanks still reinforcing. Infestors just getting absolutely eaten alive as siege tanks deal so much damage to an infestor there. 2 shots and it is dead, as the infestors now back away once more. Natural regeneration for the win on that infestor, as that infestor with 1 armor is able to retreat and fight again another day. Marines, 1-0 upgraded Marines now attempting to take down these destructible rocks. It looks as though a planetary fortress will be positioned there momentarily, and now Strelok, even though he is behind economically, is in position to take this game. Once a Terran player is able to establish up a planetary fortress here, it is very difficult for a Zerg player to take it down other than Infestor Broodlord. We are currently going into Tier 3, but I don't see a Spire yet, which might mean we are going into Ultralists for the Tier 3 choice. Queens and Infestors now nearby. Down goes another Viking. Are we going to spot a hatchery here? I don't believe so. There isn't enough harvesters at this time. 61 drones compared to 47. Full saturation on essentially two and a quarter bases, as the extractors here still have 3 drones on gas. Now coming in, the planetary fortress is looking to be completed. The Zergling, is it gonna, oh yes, does give a little bit of collateral damage there, as the Zerglings are now trying to swarm in here. The planetary fortress is gonna be able to do a lot of damage to those Zerglings, but instead Lowly is going to actually use infestors from the low ground, and beautifully knowing the range of a siege tank, just cleans up some of those SCVs. 30 workers killed by Lowly. The harvester count is 39 to 60, but Strelok still seems to have a very, very good handle on the situation. Now, I do believe that if Strelok wants to defend this expansion, he needs to be able to set up a command center here and lay stake to this land. Otherwise, he might end up falling behind. Zerglings and Banelings, infestors, oh my. Now running in, we can see that the Ultralisk Cavern is being added. We are going into Ground Carapace level 3, Baneling movement speed, Adrenal Glands, and just every combination of units possible. Not level 3 weapons upgrade just quite yet, so we'll see what those Zerglings will be doing next. Zerglings running in from the backside, and they will be able to get in here. Yes, not a complete wall off. Marines now taken down. These supply depots must have been destroyed just moments ago, as these supply depots now are going to most likely burn to a crisp and fall. We do see supply being supply locked by Strelok. Strelok now needs to position himself in a better situation. And what is this? This is a beautiful burrow. I don't know if Lowly is doing this on purpose, but the way these Zerglings are burrowed, it is in the brush, so that even the SCVs would not normally be able to build there anyways. That I think that was just a chance freak occurrence. But these 6 Zerglings, oh yes, they are going to be able to take down this one siege tank in just a matter of seconds, as now Strelok is moving in and he is fighting on creep. Lowly knows everything about this attack. This is going to be a very dangerous situation. 3 siege tanks, 1 infested Terran right there, and it looks as though there are going to be just enough to force a retreat here, as the Zerglings are trying to do a surround. These siege tanks in a beautiful spot though, taking down multiple units. Infested Terrans now being hatched. Strelok now down to 93. Lowly coming in with 132. And now bringing out the Ultralisk. The Ultralisk walking up and hugging Marines. Marines allergic to Ultralisk hugs, as there is the GG. Well played. And Lowly takes game 1 in this series, even though it is generally a Terran favored map. Strelok just overextended with this push here. He was even on bases. I don't think he actually needed to push in here. If he just tried to defend this and establish another expansion, he would have been in a much better position. He still has a fair number of resources mining off of the bases here, but the worker kill count showing 37 to 5 really just took a heavy toll on Strelok. Strelok losing game 1, Lowly taking game 1 in this series. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.